essential for Alan to speak was because in order to fight this, we need the right political leadership. We need political leadership that understands the problem and how the enemy approaches this country. And so I believe that with leadership like Alan West, we will be able to save America. And it cannot be done without the right politicians. You ask your politicians, you ask them when you meet and greet where they are about Jihad. Do they understand? Are they even curious? I mean, I've met many politicians here that seem genuinely curious that don't know because there's this cover-up, so to speak. Anyway, I want to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Alan West.
And Pamela, thanks so much for that introduction. Robert, it's great to be here with you all today. And I just want to tell you one thing. If the truth has just become hate speech, well, you might as well lock me up because I'm not shutting up. One of the key conservative principles is national security. And the fact that we are here and we're now talking about this issue, this is one of the things that the American people look to conservative principled leadership to do, which is to protect them. And if we do not stand up in this great convention that we're having here right now and profess who we are and that we understand this situation, this issue, the American people will turn away from us. You have to hold the conservative leaders that you see here this weekend accountable to do the things to protect you. Now, let me explain some things. I've been sitting back here listening. I'm sick and tired of people saying war on terror. There's no such thing as war on terror. In World War II, how smart would it have been if the United States of America said that they were at war with the Blitzkrieg, or if they were at war with the kamikaze? A nation does not go to war against a tactic. Just the same way. When you sit around and you see our strategic level leaders here in Washington, D.C., go on all these Sunday pundit shows, they talk about how great it is that we're directing drone attacks. You think back to what happened in Vietnam when LBJ was doing bombing approval right here out of the White House. That's not what a strategic level thinker is supposed to be doing. That's not strategic perspective. A nation goes to war against an ideology. And that's what we've been talking about here today. We've been talking about the fact that we are against something that is a totalitarian, theocratic, political ideology, and it is called Islam. This is not about Muslims. It is just the same as in Nazi Germany. Not every German was a Nazi. Just the same as when I was in Iraq in 2003. Not every Iraqi was a member of the Ba'ath Party. What I am talking about here is an ideology that has existed since 622 AD, since the 7th century. It got started with a thing called the Nakba Raid, which was after Muhammad made his hijrah, leaving Mecca, going out to Medina. It has been violent ever since. It has confronted Western civilization, and this is just another chapter in the long book that they are writing to conquer each and every one of us. And now is our time. Just as our forefathers had to stand and turn these enemies back, we must now stand and turn these enemies back. Talk about abrogation. You need to understand things such as the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, where they will sit and they will deceive you by holding off so that they can become strong, which is how, back in about 627, 628, that is how Muhammad was able to then go in and overtake Mecca. The exact same thing that is happening right now. You need to understand the traditions of Muhammad. When he wrote letters to Khosroes, the Persian emperor, when he wrote letters to Heraclius, the Byzantine emperor, that said, you have three choices. You convert, you subjugate, or we're coming to get you. Well, guess what? Back in about 1992, Osama bin Laden did the exact same thing. He sent a letter to the United States of America. later on in about 2005 or 2006, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad did the exact same thing. He sent a letter to the American people and to President Bush. We are already in a declared war, and if we do not have the type of leadership that can understand that can study this enemy, this adversary, we're on the road to perdition right now in this great country. We need to understand, as everyone here has sat and told you, stood and told you, Sharia law is incompatible with who we are in Western civilization, and definitely who we stand for in the United States of America. It is not about freedom. It is not about liberty. It is not about protecting human rights or women's rights. It is about what Islam says. The word means submission. And I don't know about you all here. I'm not living as a dhimmi. I'm not living and subject to any other type of ideology except for that which is written in the Constitution of these great United States.